Yo, GD here, Tyrrell Limnus, and as you can see here today, we are at AOR Suzuka, which I say Suzuka throughout all the F1 games is probably the track I enjoy driving the most, along with Career. But for this race, I've been playing 2017 so much. I just haven't really had the motivation to really grind this or anything at the moment. So I came on this about an hour before the race, and surprisingly, I felt the pace was actually quite good pretty quickly. The consistency is pretty good, and as you can see, I've elected to go for 3 option tyres or 3 soft tyres as qualifying. I knew the strategy before one stop was probably going to be quicker, but to be honest, through the lack of running, I really wanted to enjoy this race, being able to push all the time, because if you do a one stop, you really have to conserve your tyres. And I felt on this track I could definitely have a chance of having a really good result. But in this game, in terms of the win and the dry, as I said in my previous videos, this game is just not really for me in the dry, just the way the controller handles. Tyrrell Martin is just an absolute freak on this game, on the controller. I think he's absolutely maxed it out. But for me in the dry, it just doesn't really suit my style. Every other F1 game has 12, 11, 13, 14, 15 I didn't really play, but this game it just doesn't. In the wet, love it. In the dry, just not. So for this, I was just looking to just really enjoy this race, qualify as far up as the grid as possible, and try and make the 2-stop work. The harder tyre doesn't really seem to be much pace advantage, even if you have fresher tyres, but still, just being able to push all the time was what I really wanted to do for this race, and that was the aim. But on this qualifying lap so far, this is my second run. First run wasn't really that great. I managed to get a 32.7 in practice just after one session, which is pretty good. I didn't expect to be that quick. Setup's working really well around here. We're currently on pole at the moment, because most people have just done one run on the soft tyre, slowing down in the last sector, because most people go qualifying on the medium tyre to do the one stop. Coming across the line now, and we've done a 33.1. Pretty poor last corner. Pretty shocking last sector on that lap, but the rest of the lap was pretty good, and considering it was only halfway through the session as well, the track evolution is definitely a factor in this game. So if you wait towards the end of the session, tracks go grip up a lot more, and you can definitely get in a couple of attempts. So coming on to this last run, I managed to nail this first corner really nicely. And I would just go for it in this lap, just throw everything I could at the kitchen sink for this one. Quite a nice first sector so far at the moment. Coming through this section, probably one of my favourite sections in F1, other than Magnus and Beckett's. Coming out here now, getting a little bit clipped on the grass, just losing us a bit of time. So we lost all that time we probably made up. So you can see we're down, trying to make up time, but turning too early, and that's a corner cut. Pretty disappointing that, because that really wasn't a good lap at all. But somehow we still got pole, just a tenth ahead of ESR Finch on the medium tyres, but a good 4 tenths ahead of Frank Leshue's next soft runner. So starting on pole, I can actually say I've actually got a pole position on this game at least. You know, there's a couple of wins that I felt I should have had at Spa, especially at China last season, where I just threw it away. But to get a pole, something I can actually tick off this game at the least, because I cannot wait for F1 2017 at the moment. So we've got 5 lights now, away we go, and I don't know if that's such my poor reactions. I'm convinced that I had a little bit of a delay compared to other people, because normally I get good starts in this game and normally have quite good reactions, but that, I swear there was about a few tenths difference between my screen and theirs, because I don't know what happened there. So at this point, pretty annoyed, because I just lost my pole position, start from first down to third, and now I want to get that position back. So I'm going to go down the inside of Frank, who's been really bold and aggressive here, straighten up the steering, managing to go around the outside to manage to get back in second place. And as I said, I was pretty hyped up at this point, because I wanted to keep that lead, I wanted to get in the lead, and now we've got the Flying Finn, who's already the AOR champion this season, which is fully deserved. Hadn't really had any chance, or that many chances to battle with him this season and on this game, because he's just a beast of the game, and we just haven't really put ourselves in a position to have those kind of battles. So right now on the faster tyre, just for the first few laps at least, until the mediums actually take over, we're going to make the most of this. He's AOR champion, so we don't have to be soft with him anymore, as I have been in some other races. We're going to be quite forceful on this. If he crashes, we make contact. He's already won the championship, so we don't really need to do anything here. So we're going to go down the inside. A little bit of lag here, so pulling out, and there's still a bit of lag as well. So he's going to let us go into lead. So managed to go from first to third, and now back to first again before the end of the first lap. So kind of redeeming ourselves a little bit here. And now we're going to go across the line a little bit. I hate that corner. I'm so bad in that last sector of that sequence of corners. That's my biggest downfall in this game. It's just a short shift in between gears. And the car feel floaty. It's something I really struggle with in this game, which Tiro Martin has definitely mastered on this. But now we've got good pace, managed to put a little bit of a gap between some of the riders behind us, going purple as we would do on lap 2 anyway. And now I think Finn is going to probably have a little bit of a go at us down this straight. I'm not sure. So go across the line now. He's right on our tail at the moment. I don't know if he's going to have enough pace. I don't think he is. I think he's going to pull out, but we're still going to have just enough pace to actually keep ahead of it. I think we're going to stay aboard this lap. So trying to show up a little bit more of my full lap footage here at the moment. So driving pretty nicely, pretty consistent. As I said, this track is definitely a favourite of mine, but I cannot wait for F1 2017 at this point. Through playing it, it feels my kind of game. I know I said that at the start of this game, because it actually was before the patch. Before the patch, it was looking seriously strong, but then they changed things, and from there it just didn't really, it wasn't really my cup of tea since there, which is a great shame, because I was really hyped. Really want to win an AWAR championship. I've been so close before, and people give me so much stick for it, which is quite entertaining because I'm always chasing that title, and I'm always going to try and get that title. And I really hope that F1 2017 can finally be the game, because at the moment, and based on pace, it's probably looking like my strongest game at the moment. That in 2014, in terms of pace compared to other runners who I race with, it's looking really good. So just got to keep your head, no disconnections, no game freezes, and we can see, well, we'll see what will happen. But focusing back on this race at the moment, trying to nail this chicane, as the tyres are now starting to go off ever so slightly now at the moment. So the medium runners, and you can see we've actually pulled out a gap to Alonso, his brother, in third. So the pace is still really good. And now Finn is going to go down the inside of us, so defending ever slightly, but we're going to try and attack him back straight away. As I said, he's already the AOR champion, making contact, banning wheels with the hand being lifted up here, trying to correct the oversteer, and we're going to go around the outside again as we do. Manage to brake a little bit later, carry more speed here. As I said, we're not going to be soft in this race. We're going to try and fight him hard, tooth to nail, and there's no point, because, you know, as I said, he's already won the championship, so we don't really need to be cautious at this point, because when I was racing him before, I just didn't really want to be the factor and the reason why him actually losing any points or anything like that, because he was just faster at the time. But now we're in the fastest tire. We're going to make the most of this. Already led quite a few laps this season in some races, but just haven't been able to convert. At this point, I was feeling really good, because you can see that gap. We've got quite a big gap to the cars. I think in like 5th or 6th place behind, so we've got a little bit of a train coming behind us. And the tyres are still relatively good condition, and so we could even deal one stop here, maybe, possibly. We've selected the hard tyre at this point, because I was thinking if we can keep this up to, I think around lap 8 is really the absolute minimum you have to get to in order to get to a one stop, then we could possibly do it. But I hadn't done any race practice for this, or only quali practice really. I haven't really done any race practice at all through just playing F1 2017. But we're going to come around here last corner. We're starting to lose the car a little bit more at this point, so you can see the tyres are definitely, and this should be a relatively easy pass in rich mix, but he's just easy to get past us. No real chance of getting past him at this point, as you can see. I think we're just going to follow him, and again stay on board, and for the rest of this, just showing more game footage at this point. But yeah, trying to stay behind him now, and if we can just use him to just really try and stay with him, trying to keep ahead of the pack behind. So he seems to be catching a little bit just through mine and Finn's battling as our tyres are going off as well. So we've got Tiro Martin coming up behind us now on the medium tyre. But if you can stay with Finn, then we could actually have a chance of even a podium at this race. I think the win is probably out of the question, unless I can actually keep ahead of him going into the pits somehow. But at this point, we are keeping ahead of him quite well, managing the fuel, and we'll probably be able to see the tyre wear coming up here, so try and get a good exit comment at this point. We should probably look at the tyre wear, I imagine, and it's 52%, which is not too bad, but if you went to lap 8, it'd probably be like in the 60s and 70s, and on a soft tyre, you really do not want to be hitting 70. If you do that, then you're in a major risk of getting a puncture. So trying to keep ahead of Finn here, and I think we might possibly go for another overtake. So I think actually no, we'll go save some fuel. So we go thinking about the long term, trying to stay with him, use his pace to try and break away from the cars behind. Don't think we're going to go for a move at this chicane at this point. Braking nice and cautious as he goes in a little bit deep, and we might be going for another move here from what I can remember. So you can see squiggling on the car, but getting quite a decent exit, so it's still got decent traction on these tyres. Rich mix, and I think we should be going for a move here, which I believe we are going to. We're going to go for another move down the inside, so end of that, or beginning of lap 6, making the move back into the lead at this point, and I was pleasantly surprised. I really was not expecting this at all. But we're coming towards the end of lap 6 now, and the train is starting to catch up behind us, 62% now. And I think we can only really go on for another lap. If we go on for another 2 laps, then it would be heartbreaking to have a puncher at this point. But going into chicane now, second gear, short shifting to third, just to avoid the wheel spin. As you can see, we've started to lose the car a little bit now, and now we've got Tyrrell Martin joining the pie. And this should be another quite easy move, as they're doing low 36s. We're still doing high 36s, so we're doing a pretty good job on these tyres, which are absolutely shot at this point. I think they can go to like lap 10 or 11 or something. I think this is probably going to be the last lap we can do at this point, and I think we're going to stay on board. I believe we're going to go into the pits this lap. So you can see how much time we're losing already at this point. But we're using 8-7 wings for this race. It seems to be working quite well. I'm just about turning, but getting that traction on the rear is definitely helping a bit. And I think we're now holding up Tyrrell Martin and trying to see what the grip is through here. It seems to be pretty good, not too bad. But yeah, we're driving pretty well. No warnings so far this race as well. So yeah, just trying to keep that up and hopefully go for a charge in the race. If we have a 2 to 3 lap fresh tyres, then the guys ahead, then... Oh, the guys ahead of us at this point. You can see 69%, 71 I think on the front right. So now we've got to be really cautious. No lockups at this point. And we're going to go on a soft tyre once again. I think the hard tyre from here, from watching some of the guys footage in the other leagues, they on the wheel as well, going from lap 8, they almost had a puncture at the end. So I think it's safe to say that we're not going to do too well. And that was just my signal to Martin. Hopefully he can take that as me coming into pit. So Alonso is trying to go down the inside of us as well. I think they actually make a little bit of contact. So I was pretty scared that they were going to take each other out, try and navigate through a chicane. And I believe we're going to go into the pits now because we're losing too much time. The tyres are starting to go off. Now about to go into the pits, hitting the pit limiter line, which is 50 miles an hour around here. About some other tracks, I think Silverstone's about 37 mile an hour, but around here 50 mile an hour. Let's see what the pit stop time's going to be. 2.5 seconds, which is pretty good, not too bad compared to when I was in the Haas, when it was always about 3.5 seconds, something like that. Coming out of the pits now, I think got Frankish has actually gone on a hard tyre behind us. Coming out of the pits, joining a 9th place, and let's see how much time we can actually make up, which I believe we're going to go on to, well, I think onto lap 11 now. The guys ahead of us, or Finn, and that still haven't pitted, as we're going to go down the inside of 6 skills. So quite a nice move into that hairpin now, and trying to press on towards the end of lap 11, which I think now Finn and them lot will actually come out on their harder tyres now, as we're on the softs. And let's see, so I think that is Finn coming out of the pits now. Let's see if we can just about stay ahead of him, which we do. We managed to stay ahead of him, just about to manage to close up about 2 seconds or so. And I think the other guys, that's the train behind us, with Jason staying out on the medium tyres at the moment, which he always tends to do. He always tends to do the alternative strategy, and fair play, to be honest, it actually works out most of the time in this game. And I think we're going to stay on board for the rest of this lap, as I expect Finn probably to be definitely quick at this point, because the mediums are, well, the softs are good for a few laps, and then turn to lose their speed, as he is on the harder tyre now, which is so durable, but not really that quick. So go try and make most of it. If we were to make this strategy work, we should really be putting out 5 to 10 second lead before the next stop, but I don't think that's really going to happen. Driving quite well, managing the fuel as I said, but I think we'll probably go into the pits I don't know what lap, probably like next, I don't know, probably a couple of laps or something. I'll probably go in the pits. Driving good, going a little bit out wide here, so pushing a little bit too hard. And now we've got the flying fin behind us and a little bit of a gap behind them, which I think has got Martin and Alonso in that little train as well. And I don't think Finn's going to go for move here. He'll probably go for move on the main straight. So completely flat out through 130R. Hitting this at 100 meter board, coming to his second gear. Clip half on this apex. Clip half again in this one, short position to third. And I think this says Jason, my teammate's in the pits now, so he's going to be pitting from the hard tyre, I imagine, towards the end of the race. And now the flying fin defending, but there's nothing really too much we can do at this point. As, yeah, I think we're going to try and stay with him, but we're not going to really be able to stay with him for too long. And again, I think we're just going to stay on board just to show some more footage. And so right behind him, but the soft tyres I think are really just going to be going off a bit too soon at this point. But yeah, as I said, I've been playing 2017 so much recently. The handling I absolutely love. It feels like 2013 in a way. I think the most important thing, I think the wheel-to-wheel battling is definitely back on the cards. I know you could do it in this game at some points, but I feel in that game in particular you can really do it seriously well. So I cannot wait for that. And as I said, I feel it's a game that is really almost suited me perfectly to the driving style. So I'm really pumped to really show what I can do again, because I felt this game this year I just haven't been able to show. I've shown glimpses of what my potential can be, glimpses of speed, glimpses of good overtaking, racecraft, and of what I can really do when I'm actually really dialed into the game. But this game, as I said, it just wasn't for me. And when something's not for me, I just don't really put in the grind as I did. And I think even if I did put in the grind, I just wouldn't be able to. It's just not for me, this game. But that's why I'm so determined to really show of what I can do in 2017, like I did on the other F1 games. Because I think it's been a long time since I've been able to do that, and still being able to fight for some wins in this game regardless of that. I think just shows to myself I know what I can do. I'm really looking forward to showing you guys what I can do as well in the next game. So coming out the pits now in 7th place, we've got a teammate ahead of us on the harder tyre, which now I'll be able to push fully to the end without really having to worry about the tyre wear. But even having the fresher tyres, as we can see, moving on to lap 27, we didn't really do anything. The gap stayed the same between myself and my teammate, because the fresher tyres, they just don't really gain you any performance advantage like I do on the softer tyres. Coming into here now, and we're going to finish in 5th place in this race. You know, not a bad result, but obviously not a result I would be happy with in the past. But on this game, you got to take it, and yeah, for the lack of running, I guess I can take that. Hoping to end the season on a high, maybe on a couple of podiums, maybe even a win if it's a full wet race at Brazil. That would be an absolute dream if that was the case. But I'm really pumped, and my main focus is on F1 2017 for now, to really chase down that title and provide good content for you guys to really help you get good at the game as well, and to just keep entertaining you as normal. So thank you so much as always for the support. It really does mean a lot to me. Thank you, and I will catch you next video.